The borders of Israel are clearly defined, but the boundaries of Palestine are difficult to establish. Theoretically, Palestine includes the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. However, control over this region is complex and constantly evolving. Palestine's history is drenched in bloodshed, displacement, and instability. The conflict has lasted for a century now and is nowhere close to a solution. What happened was this. During the British Mandate of Palestine from 1922 to 1947, a huge Jewish influx to this area took place, mainly from Eastern Europe. The numbers kept swelling post the 1930 Holocaust of the Second of the World Wars. But Palestinian Arabs also claimed the same land which they had been occupying for generations. The return to Israel meant the forced eviction of thousands of Palestinian Arabs who were the indigenous occupants of this land. As soon as Israel started implementing the partition plan, neighboring Arab countries actively tried to prevent. Over 700,000 Palestinian Arabs either fled or were expelled and were never allowed to return. War came knocking again in 1967. Decades of political tension built up into 6 days of all-out military conflict between Israel on one side and Egypt, Syria and Jordan on the other. One side and Egypt, Syria and Jordan on the other. A second exodus of Palestinians, hundreds of thousands of Palestinians fled or were forced out of their homes in what they called Al-Nakba, holding the rights of Palestinian Arabs. Neither they nor their descendants have been allowed by Israel to return to their homes. Israel argues that this would overwhelm the country and threaten its existence as a Jewish. In 2002, the Second Intifada began. One of the triggers was the visit of Ariel Sharon, the right-wing Jewish Israeli politician, to the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, along with Israeli policemen. Palestinian Muslims protested and 7 were killed in the ensuing violence, which marked the start of Intifada al-Aqsa. Soon after, Israel began the construction of a West Bank separation wall located mostly within the occupied Palestinian territory. This was ruled illegal by the International Court of Justice. The next 5 years were marked by in 1987. It was born of the resistance to Israel's occupation of the West Bank and Gaza Strip. It rejects any permanent peace with the Jewish state.
In Gaza, Hamas stores weapons in schools. It digs tunnels under mosques and fires rockets from within hospitals.
It took center stage after it opposed the Oslo Peace Accord signed by Israel and Palestine after the First Intifada. It launched several suicide attacks aimed at ensuring the failure of the peace accord. In February and March 1996, in a series of suicide bombings, Hamas killed nearly 60 Israelis. Hamas's extremist stand and violent playbook found support from a significant section of Palestinians oppressed by years of Israeli dominance. Hamas gained legitimacy in 2006 when it won the Palace of Iran. General Ismail Qani has assured Hamas Israel claims on Jerusalem, with former American President Donald Trump officially recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. He even relocated the American embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem.
We finally acknowledge the obvious, that Jerusalem is Israel's capital.
He is in total violation of international law, human rights, and he's turning the conflict between Palestinians and Israelis from a political one into a religious one. That's a very dangerous situation.
However, Israel has mostly disregarded the international arbitration of what they consider their holy land.
Fighting risks dragging Israelis and Palestinians into a spiral of violence with devastating consequences for those communities and for the entire region. It has the potential to unleash an uncontainable security and humanitarian crisis and to further foster extremism, not only in the occupied Palestinian territory and Israel, but in the region as a whole.